It's like,
Yes, you knew
You're from the
that it was
it's
coming.
like,
You're in the
to
front.
me,
Yeah.
the women had a labor union here, like one or two in the state, did you say?
Mhm.
Is that the-
No, there's a few teachers in the North Shore and Jefferson, yeah.
Oh, so it's three?
Yeah. Well, I don't know about the rest, the three in this area, yeah.
Okay. Do you ever feel like you have more in common with the guys in labor than you do almost any other women out there?
Well, it is interesting. When I was in a leadership role on staff in the community organizing world, there were often lots of women organizers. But in the labor movement down here, it really is a very white male dominated organization. And it's not just at the top, it's down too. You know, we have a group of unions that lobby together or coordinate up at the Capitol every day, and our political organizer is there, Latanja Sylvester, her name is, and she's a young African-American woman, and she is the only African-American woman on the labor group that's organizing, and there's only one other African-American and one other woman. So it is a shame, you know, that, that we're so alone. Part of it, the pool is unfortunately so small. It's not like there are a million labor leaders, one, let alone, you know. And a lot of the ones, what is it that, I guess someone told me, Andy Stern, former SEIU president, used to say, male, pale and stale or something. So I don't want to say that's all of our leaders here, but it's definitely, I think we need new blood from all walks of life. Yes?
You're saying you felt like you were fighting capitalism, and I think it's one of those things that you can't really fight because it's so resilient. So you sort of have to just take it with a grain of salt and maybe decide you don't want the top guy to get paid $2 million. You want that to be reorganized the way everybody's, you spread it out differently. You have to organize that, but it's just a simple decision of saying let's restructure the way we pay people. And everybody has to sort of agree, I guess, consensus or vote, but it's really deciding sort of like can we pay, how much can we pay, or how much can we save, or so it's sort of a business decision when it comes down to it. But now you're also talking about government, which is territory where not everybody wants government into business. So you're going to get government to tell business how to run their business, and it just gets all messed up. So figure it out in the business model, and you can pay somebody more. You'll have alternatives where people will say, I can find another job, and I can pay $10 a day rather than $2.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think when I say it, it sometimes feels like we're fighting capitalism. I think an example in Jefferson Parish schools, say the custodians, the cafeteria workers, were trying to get raises. So the school board, who is a very business-friendly, anti-union school board, brings in a consultant who does a area wage study. But thanks to the privatization of all the school cafeteria workers and custodians in New Orleans, the area wages are much lower than they were 5 years ago. And so now our members who were resoundingly underpaid 5 years ago are the highest paid in Jefferson Parish and when you compare it to New Orleans. And so it's just these are economic forces. It's a competition run wild. We really, especially in the schools, I have to say, it's particularly galling because there's the whole race to the top around education, but it's a race to the bottom on the parents of those children. And our members are all the cafeteria leaders are all young African American mothers, and all their kids, they're all having to get second jobs now, and their kids go to these charter schools. It is a direct effect. But so that's what it's forces not too big for us, but they are big. Any other questions?
Alternative models are actually very difficult to organize. Upstairs, we have a common space, as we call it, that we have been converting to a cooperative. That means that, and it's not a big thing, but
It's a different model.
it's a different model. So if someone wants, It's New Orleans, they want air conditioning, that means you have to pay utilities. You know, you want to paint it today, you got to, you know, there's maintenance, there's utilities, there's whatever. So in trying to organize the common space, it's going to be more easier done in common space. It actually has been fascinating as you try to change the policy from where it was nobody cared about it was common space as long as they owned their piece of town. So there was an entitlement about where people existed on the schedule, but actually making it into a cooperative where everybody was just going to pass the hat, there's no minimum, but pass the hat, usually people come up with $10 in the back space or $20 in the front space, and just sharing this. So we had one group of doctors that met there.
Oh, no.
As soon as we said, you know, here's what everybody else is doing, and, you know, the space you're using, you might want to pitch into, and they used it every Monday night from 7 to 8. Oh, no.
They didn't want to.
No, they didn't want to participate in anything where they didn't pass the hat. So, you know, new groups all come in, yeah, they embrace it, it's exciting, it's a new model. But the groups that felt an entitlement, you know, didn't want anything to change, even if it was only, you know.
Yeah, that's the infringement, like you're saying, we have slavery still at work, we have sort of ownership, some people are owning a lot more than others, and the people who own it don't want to give it up, but at the same time, people who own a house want to have a guest come over to have dinner, so share space.
Well, you know, we do
I
have.
just think it's this issue of solidarity, that, you know, to the degree you have an opportunity even on a small scale. It's one thing to talk about capitalism, you know, you think, oh my God, I mean, that's probably too big for me, I won't touch it. Even a little small scale, like the rooms upstairs, you know, the same values come to play, which is how do you share, you know? If you want this space or don't want this space, well, here's the burden.
It takes a doctor probably a few $100,000 at least to become a doctor, and a lawyer, and CEO. It takes some money to get there, and so they think, well, I deserve it, and so they get paid that much. But
And I think they deserve it too, they deserve to be in another space.
I know.
Because this space is challenging, and it's going to be a cooperative space. So, to the degree you're only looking after yourself, you really need to find another space.
Well, I do think I want to.
This is not liberalism, this is how you build solidarity. Solidarity is based on sharing values and supporting each other.
Well, I do want to mention on the alternative models thing, we do have one local leader, a school network leader, who's very committed to creating an alternative model. So, First Line Schools is, the CEO is Jay Altman, and super sharp, super committed to justice for low-wage workers. And so when First Line took over Clark High School, they decided to bring the custodians in-house and gave the head custodian, who was making $9 an hour for Sodexo, a raise to $15 an hour, and gave the other custodians who were making $8.50, $9 an hour, a raise to $12.50. And we are working to put together kind of a model union contract that we could hopefully convince some of the more progressive leaders in the charter school community. But, you know, nothing made Jay do that. That's just Jay's commitment. You know, he really doesn't, he does believe that poverty is creating, poverty makes it very hard to educate children, and so he's trying to educate children in a holistic way. That is, in many ways, a very solidarity-like notion. He doesn't need to. He's doing it to help. He wants SEIU to grow. He wants us to be big. He wants our members to have a voice in the city. And I do think that that is an essential part of people looking a little bit past themselves institutionally. It's, you know, especially in the labor movement, and even especially here, and Wade could probably, you know, tell us lots of stories about lots of fights and stuff that have gone on with labor and among community organizations. And at this point, maybe it's because there's so few of us left. We really, and because we are probably able to do that just financially right now, we have a pretty magnanimous world. We want everyone. At this point, I would love to see 1,000 flowers bloom, but even 2 flowers blooming would make us happy at this point.
Well, that's on the road.